Hello everyone, this is part 9 of What If Naruto Was Iron Man, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Iron Man flew through the air at incredible speeds as he approached Konoha. As he passed over the walls, people heard the sound of a sonic boom as he flew over the main part of the village and soon saw what he was looking for and crashed into the water of a small lake. As he hit, Naruto sealed his armor and swam to the surface before he climbed back out of the water and looked around. A few moments later, several Anbu landed in the clearing and saw Naruto standing there, and he asked, "Did you guys see that?" An Anbu in a cat mask asked, "What was it?" Naruto said, "I don't know, I was just here laying on the bank taking a nap when something hit the water and caused this huge splash that soaked me. Do you guys know what it is?" The Anbu all looked at the lake and the one in the cat mask said, "Stay here and look for whatever it was. The Hokage has been wanting to see you, Naruto, since your prank earlier." Naruto rubbed his head and said, "Sure thing, Yu-chan. Let's go." All the Anbu stiffened and Cat asked in a stutter voice, "What did you say?" Naruto looked at her and said, "Sure, Yu-chan, let's go see the old man." Cat asked, "Why did you call me that?" Naruto looked confused and said, "Your name's Yugao, you're dating that cool guy named Hyatt who is the best swordsmaster in the village. I recognized your voice because I've wanted to talk to Hyatt about learning Kenjutsu from him, and I've heard him call you that name before. Oops, sorry, I forgot Anbu was supposed to keep their name secret. Sorry." As he rubbed his head looking sheepish. Cat said, "Well, you were mistaken. I am not this Yugao person." Naruto said, "Oh, sorry about that, Pussy-chan," with an innocent smile on his face, making the cat Anbu face fault as the other three Anbu burst out laughing. Cat said, "The name is Neko. Do you understand?" Naruto said, "At least it's not Tora. Then I would be afraid of you." Neko sighed and said, "Look for whatever that was while I take him to the Hokage," as she walked over and slapped Naruto upside the head and said, "Sorry, my hand slipped," before she shushing both to the Hokage office. The Sandaime was looking out his window when they appeared, and he said, "Ah, Naruto, I see Neko here was able to find you, though I thought you were locating that disturbance." Neko said, "I was, sir, and my squad is at the location the disturbance ended." Naruto here was laying on the shore of the lake where the object hit and was covered by splash from it hitting the lake. He did not, however, see what the object was. "Also, sir, there was one other thing. Naruto here confused me with someone named Yugao because of my voice. I do not know how close I sound to that person, but someone might check to see, because if he made that kind of mistake, others might as well and target her to get to me. He had a real interesting story about how he knows her, and you might like to hear it." The Sandaime said, "I see. Well, if that is all, return to your squad and report to me what you find. I will deal with Naruto for his prank myself." Neko said, "Yes, sir," before leaving in a swirl of leaves. The Sandaime looked at Naruto and said, "I see you got some new cloths." Naruto said, "Yeah, they're a gift." The Sandaime said, "Really? From who?" Naruto said, "My godmother," making the Sandaime freeze. The Sandaime asked, "What do you mean? I was under the impression you were an orphan." Naruto said, "My mother came from Whirlpool in the Land of Water." "Correct." The Sandaime lost all expression on his face and said, "I don't know." Naruto said, "Well, she did. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki and she had red hair and green eyes, which means that I got my blonde hair and blue eyes from my father. Sounds like someone I've seen only in pictures, huh?" As he looked at the Sandaime with a knowing look. The Sandaime frowned and said, "I cannot confirm nor." Naruto interrupted him and said, "Jiraiya is my godfather." The Sandaime frowned and said, "You shouldn't make." Naruto said, "Furballs sealed in me," making the Sandaime face pale. He took a deep breath and asked, "I see there is no denying anything. How did you find out?" Naruto said, "What is a reason for a person to have two elemental affinities at my age?" as he looked at his nails like he was inspecting them. The Sandaime looked at Naruto for several moments and said, "There are several reasons." Naruto said, "But what is the most likely one?" The Sandaime said, "A bloodline." Naruto said, "There are three who have my bloodline that I know of. My godmother, who my mother informed about me and my parents while she was pregnant with me, myself, and one other who I plan on meeting in the near future. My godmother has a rare disease that leaves her bedridden and cannot make the trip from the land of water where she is to see me herself, so she paid a mission to a ninja from the hidden mist to deliver a scroll to me from her with a blood seal on it so nobody else could open it. Inside was these cloths and information on my mother and father, as well as instructions on where my mother's scrolls on my bloodline is located, but I will need your help to get them. The Mist Nin was the reason I disappeared like I did after that prank, as he used a jutsu to shushan me to where he was. He was also the one who informed me about Kyuubi being in me because he had to ask villagers about an Uzumaki and they told him about it. Now I am pissed that I had to find out from a scroll and a foreign ninja about my family and secrets about me that it looks like the entire village knew instead of a person I thought of as a grandfather, and because of that I have lost a lot of trust in you. The Sandaime frowned and said, "Do you have the scrolls?" Naruto raised his sleeve on his cloak a little and showed a seal that held the armor and said, "It's sealed in here. This is a special transfer seal that transfers from paper to flesh, and it can only be opened by me when I am alone. It's part of what was in the scroll. There is several jutsu on the scroll that were left to me by my parents that I was to learn, and I have learned one already, and it will help me pass the academy test, but I won't show it to you because I can't be sure you won't take the scroll to keep me from learning the jutsu or to deny my parentage." The Sandaime looked down and said, "Your father had a lot of enemies, Naruto. If word got out about you being his son, then they would target you. I was to keep it a secret until you made Chunin, at which time I was going to inform you about the Kyuubi as well." Naruto said, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions, old man. ... I've had to think a lot about what I should do now. I questioned, why should I serve a village that spits on me and my family name? Why should I fight, bleed, sweat and possibly die for a bunch of idiots who can't tell a scroll from the kunai it's sealed in? I questioned, why should I even care anymore? But most of all I questioned, should I just leave and find somewhere where no one knows me and start over," as he looked out the window. The Sandaime looked down and Naruto said, "But I realize that no matter what I think, that there are certain truths that I am going to have to realize. If I did leave, I know, or at least I hope you would not send people out to kill me or bring me back and lock me away where someone else couldn't get me only because of the Kyuubi. But you're not going to live forever. The person who takes over after you may just do that, or worse, put a seal on me like the Hokages where they can have me publicly tortured if I don't do as they say. And there would be nothing I could do, is there? I would be nothing more than a tool for a village that would want me dead," as he looked at the Sandaime. The Sandaime remained silent and Naruto said, "I may not be book smart, but I am not an idiot either. I don't have any skills that could be useful besides being a ninja, so I have B1. Even if there are those here I hate, there are those I want to see safe. I know I need money to live and I need to get stronger because there are those out there who would want the power of the Kyuubi and it would most likely cost my life. I know I am not strong enough to fight them at my current level, and maybe along the way I can get what I always wanted besides being Hokage. You want me to serve this village as a ninja, right?" The Sandaime nods and Naruto said, "Then how about we make a deal? I will serve this village faithfully and not get revenge on them for the way they treat me, but in exchange I want some things myself. Things that should be mine had the Kyuubi not attacked, and things that will make my life better. So how about it? Don't think of me as a civilian now or a ninja. Think of me as a mercenary who wants to join Konoha so he can have a home to work from." The Sandaime took out his pipe and began to smoke it and said, "Very well, what skills do you have that would be beneficial to the village?" Naruto smiled and said, "I have basic sealing knowledge including explosive tags and sealing scrolls. I have basic kenjutsu skills with a sword and a scythe that I am working to improve. I have the ability to make over 100 Kijibunshin at a time. I know the tree walking, water walking, leaf balancing, exercises that I learned in the last few hours with the help of Kijibunshin. My chakra reserves are Junin level at least, but my control is barely better than an academy student. I have other skills that I wish to remain a secret until I can better use them." The Sandaime blinked and said, "Really, how did you learn sealing?" Naruto said, "Kijibunshin are really an interesting jutsu and I don't see how come you don't use them to do your paperwork. Anything they learn is transferred back to the original when they dispel, though it is only mental training like reading, jutsu and chakra control. With the help of them I have read several books on sealing, kenjutsu with staffs, scythes, and swords that I had several Kichibunshin read and memorize enough to where I had a fight with my Kichibunshin using that knowledge and I was able to defeat them with only minor cuts, but like I said it was only basic, but with more time and training I can improve in those areas. As for the exploding notes and the sealing scroll, my orange jumpsuit was an excellent test for the exploding seal when I drew it and was able to get it to work. I also sealed my weapons into my cloak here so I don't have to carry them in weapon pouches, so I think I got the basic of sealing down as well. The Sandaime said, that is actually quite impressive. How were you able to understand all that though? Naruto glared at the Sandaime and said, because I am not the idiot everyone thinks I am. I've been kicked out of class, sent to the corner, asked questions on things we haven't even learned and been given different tests than everyone else and defective equipment that I had to pay triple price for. Of course I am going to be the dead last of the academy when you have all that against you for something that wasn't your fault, but tell me this. If I was really that bad at my actual skills, then how was it that I was able to paint the Hokage monument in broad daylight without being caught until I was done? The Sandaime frowned as he looked out the window and asked, has it really been that bad for you, Naruto? Naruto looked out the window and said, I'm tired, Gigi. You're stuck in this office all day when you can use Kichibunshin to do your paperwork so you don't see all the shit I've had to live through or what the council and others are doing to the village. I may not be attacked physically, but to see a mother pull her children away while glaring at you and telling them you're a monster, or having people knock you down and laugh at you while some idiot purposely steps on your hands is enough to make you want to give up. You don't realize how much this village has changed over the years. They had to have been different for my father to sacrifice his life and mine for them. I know there is more to the Uchiha massacre than what people say. I know Danzo was connected to it somehow since he's got his fingers in everything he can. I've seen his special route and I've been inside his base before on accident. I know the old nag and goat are in his pocket, hell I think they have a threesome with as much time as they spend together at his base. The Sandaime frowned and he looked at Naruto and said, are you sure about that? Naruto asked, about what? The Sandaime said, you've been inside his base before. Naruto snorts and said, yeah, you can't miss it. It's a couple of blocks away from my apartment. The only one-story building in that whole R. The base is underground. You can get into it through the sewers like I did once on accident and come out that building. The old nag and goat go there all the time. Remember when I water ballooned them? They were in that building then. The Sandaime wrote something on a piece of paper discreetly while Naruto was looking outside, and the Sandaime said, very well, what is it you want to join Konoha? Naruto was silent a moment and said, you help me get my mother's scrolls is one of the things I want. I also want those Sanin travel things I heard discussed when I was in the corner at the academy. When things get too much for me, I want to be able to take a leave of absence and go blow off some steam away from all this shit. I also don't want to be on a team with anyone from my class. Shino and Shikamaru are okay, but I know Shikamaru is going to be with Choji and Ino because of their families, and I think that Shino, Hinata and Kiba will be together also, but they see me as an idiot and it would take probably a life or death battle for them to see me as anything else. I am willing to work with a team to learn teamwork because I know teamwork is important, but there are things I learned from the scroll of my godmothers that really interest me, and I believe I can use them to be even a better ninja than I would be if I was with Sasuke and Sakura like I think I am going to be. If what I read is even half of what I can learn, then my mom's family must have been really cool in the past. The Sandaime thought a moment and said, all right, tell me about what you need my help to get your mother's scrolls. Naruto said, my mother's scroll is being held by the Fire Lord. My father had him hold them in trust. I've activated my bloodline once on accident when I was younger, but until I read about what my bloodline was I thought it was a weird dream. The Sandaime said, I will send word to him today to get those for you. What do you want to do about a team though? I mean, if you don't want put on a regular team, then what do you want me to do? Naruto said, I need someone to help me with the rough edges with my kenjutsu skills. That's why I was thinking about Hyatt when Neko appeared and I heard her voice and she reminded me of Hyatt girlfriend. I don't want to be an actual apprentice though, just maybe a spar once a week so I can make my own style, and any hints that he might be willing to give me if he agrees, that is. I don't want it to be an order, more like a request. As for missions with a team, well, there is a team I think I could work with and I think they could help me with my bloodline as well as my other skills and I might be able to help them also improve themselves and their sensei is cool though a little weird and he like Hyatt I think he could help me smooth down some of my rougher aspects in taijutsu and possible give me advice for a style that would suit me. The Sandaime thought a moment and said, are you talking about Team 9? Rock Lee, Hyuga Neji, and Tenten under Guy. Naruto said, yeah, my bloodline has several uses with weapons and from what I have seen and heard Tenten is probably the best general weapon user in the village. I know she uses seals because I've heard jokes about where she keeps all her weapons and if she interested I might show her some of what my family scrolls said about our weapon style and she could work them into her style and then there is Lee. He is probably the strongest genin in Konoha right now and if he could use chakra I think he would have been Rookie of the Year. With my Bunshin and my own unpredictability I can help Lee train against multiple enemies so if he was attacking several enemy ninja or bandits then he would avoid mistakes like focusing on one person and missing the guy coming up behind him. I don't really know anything about Neji so I don't know if I can learn anything from him or him from me. The Sandaime smoked his pipe for several minutes as he thought over what Naruto had told him and said, you seem different Naruto. Naruto said, I feel different Gigi. I feel like a lot of weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I know I'm not just some worthless piece of trash that was abandoned by his parents. My godmother told me that my mother passed away giving birth to me or so she was told in a scroll someone sent her and my father died sealing Kyuubi. I want to make them proud of me but I want to do it my own way. I want to show people I am not the Kyuubi and that I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I want to meet what's left of my family which is also why I want the Sannin travel rights so I can go meet them without having my duty in the way. I want to show true strength comes from protecting that which is precious to you and not from your family name or skills. I don't want to be just a tool to be used and thrown away when done with it. Does that make any sense to you Gigi? The Sandaime gave Naruto a sad smile and said, I have made many mistakes when it came to you Naruto. I can see that now. I should never have hidden who your parents were from you and I should have told you about Kyuubi myself instead of having you find out on your own like you did. You seem so much older and wiser than you should be. I can tell you have let go of your emotional mask you have had on for years and it appears that you have come out stronger than most would have. I will agree to all your requests and I will speak with Guy and Hyatt about what you asked however it will be their decision. If not I will come up with something. The way you are now I do not believe you would grow on the team I had planned on you to be on but I will find one that I think will help you if they turn you request down. Naruto smiled and said, thanks. Do I get my travel rights? The Sandaime said, yes though you will have to check in with me before you leave, where you plan to go and when you plan to return so in case something comes up I can contact you. Naruto said, alright, that will work. Don't forget my mom's scrolls. The Sandaime said, I won't. Is there anything else? Naruto thought a moment and asked, did my parent leave anything for me? I mean a home, or land, or money. My apartment is okay but if what I hope happens with my relative then I'm going to need a bigger place. The Sandaime thought a moment and said, your family home was destroyed in the Kyuubi attack and the money that they left you I used to support you over the years. Naruto frowned and said, my godfather. Jiraiya, he writes those pink books doesn't he? The Sandaime blushed and said, yes. Naruto thought a moment and said, that means he really rich right? The Sandaime said, I don't know, why? Naruto said, well, since he hasn't been in my life before I was thinking he owes me a lot of late birthday presents and if you haven't sold the land my parents' home was in I could have a home built there or buy me a place far enough away from the actual center of the village where I could train at my home and not disturb anyone. The Sandaime looked out the window and said, I might know of something that could be used but it needs a lot of work to make it livable and it actually belongs to someone else but she has left the village and gave it to me to do with as I see fit. I could let you have it however the final decision would fall upon her if she returned to the village and asked for it back I would have to make you leave and give it to her. Naruto thought, so he's going to give me that huh? How ironic. No wonder she had looked at him for his permission, and said, I understand. Where is it and when can I move in? I have to do my own upkeep right now anyway, so if I have to do some repair work on the place, that will give me something to do when not training and maybe give me some skills to fall back on if I get hurt and can't be a ninja anymore. The Sandaime blinked and said, I hadn't thought about that, but I guess you could be right. The place belonged to the Nadaime Hokage of Konoha and is between the Shodaime's lands and my clan's land. I can show it to you after you pass your Genin test. Naruto acted excited and said, really? That would be awesome. Your place is far enough from the village, nobody goes out there without a reason, and I could use the area to work on my clan jutsu, and if the Nadaime left any water jutsu, that will help me with my bloodline. The Shodaime asked, what is your bloodline exactly, Naruto? Naruto frowned a moment, looking at the Sandaime like he was judging if he should trust him, and said, ice. The Sandaime eyes got wide a moment and said, really? You said you activated it already. When was this? Naruto frowned a moment and got a far-off look and said, these guys jumped me once and they had a couple of swords and one of them went to slice my head off. I was scared and I closed my eyes and screamed. I waited for the pain and death to take me, but it never came. I opened my eyes and found myself in a block of ice along with the guys who attacked me. I remember wanting out of it and trying to get free, and I got really tired after a while and the ice started to crack and I was able to break free. When I did, I ran. I remember waking up in my apartment in my dirty cloths and found a note telling me not to sleep in the woods by my bed. I don't know if I killed them, Gigi. Until now I thought it was a weird dream, but if ice really is my bloodline like my godmother's scroll said then, as he bit his lip. The Sandaime closed his eyes and said, you did it in self-defense, Naruto. I guess you must have thought it was a nightmare before. Naruto nods and the Sandaime said, it might have been or might not have been. Whichever case it is, what do you feel about it? Naruto thought a moment and said, I feel sick, but I've known as long as I wanted to be a ninja that I would someday have to kill. As long as I feel sick, that makes me human, right? The Sandaime said, mostly, as long as you don't take joy out of killing, then you are still safe, but if there comes a time you enjoy killing, then you need to stop being a ninja. Naruto nods and said, if that's all, Gigi, I'm kind of tired and I need some rest. The Sandaime said, yes. Get you some rest. I will have Anbu clean up your prank this time since you did raise a valid point, but you can't do things like that again. I am treating you as an adult and I expect you to act like one, Naruto. Naruto said, yes, Hokage-sama, as he stood up and started toward the door but stopped and said, Gigi, as he waited for the third response. The Sandaime said, yes. Naruto said, thanks. The Sandaime smiled sadly and said, for what it's worth, Naruto, I am sorry and I am proud of you. Naruto nods and bit his lip, still looking at the door, and the Sandaime asked, is there something else? Naruto said, Mizuki, yesterday when I was leaving the academy I overheard him mumbling to himself. He said something about finally getting to kill the demon after he get the forbidden scroll. I didn't think anything at that time, thinking it was something he was reading since he had a stack of papers in his hand, but the Sandaime frowned and said, don't worry about it, Naruto. Just pass your test and I will meet you after the test to congratulate you and take you to your new home. I will watch Mizuki. Naruto nods and said, be careful, Grandpa, as he left, not looking back. The Sandaime looked sadly at the door a moment before his eyes hardened and he said, Anbu. Anbu appeared and he said, I want all captains in my office in 1 hour. We have had several security breaches today and I am not in a good mood. I also want Ibiki and Anko here as well. Go. The 4 were gone and the Sandaime sat back and smoked his pipe. After Naruto left the Hokage Tower, he looked at the sun and thought, it's getting late. I guess I can go watch the sunset. On second thought, that might not be a good idea right now, as he looked at the paint still on the mountain. As he made his way home, he mostly ignored the looks he was getting from people and he made it to his apartment and created some kajbunshin to begin cleaning the room. As he went to take a shower and Eva appeared behind him and said, relax, I'm just going to wash your back. Naruto nods and leans against the wall, letting the shower hit his back, and he asked, am I doing the right thing? Eva said, I think you are. For now you need to bide your time and get stronger. Akatsuki is strong. Stronger than both of us combined at the moment. We need time to get stronger, and as long as we are in this village we have time to get stronger. Besides, you still have to get your girls to love you. Naruto bit his lip and said, but was it love? I mean, Yugao was with me as a replacement for Hyatt. We both know that. If she had a choice between him and me, it would always be him. I care for her, but it doesn't feel the same. Eva blinked and asked, feels the same as what? Naruto said, I don't know how to explain it. I know I had feelings for Yugao, but they felt like. Eva said, comfort. Naruto blinked and asked, what? Eva said, the feeling you had for Yugao. You understood the pain you saw in her eyes and you wanted to comfort her. It was the same look you saw in Shizune and Tsunade's eyes. Eyes of loneliness, sadness, and hidden pain. You saw it in Tsunami also, which is why you agreed to pretend to be the father of her child. Naruto frowned and asked, are you sure? Eva said, yes, it's the same look I see in your eyes and the same feeling I have for you, as she looked down. Naruto frowned and asked, what do you mean, Eva? Eva looked up into his eyes and said, do you remember what happened earlier when you saw Tenten die? Naruto said, of course I do. How could I ever forget it? Eva said, because you don't remember that I tried to calm you down and yet you had completely shut me out. You never done that before. Naruto frowned as he looked down and said, I don't remember. I just wanted to get revenge for Tenten and I was, as he opened his eyes wide. Eva said, you understand now, don't you? You were so focused on him that you were ignoring everything. Your words were, Naruto dead, I am Iron Man. Naruto looked at Eva and she said, who is Iron Man Naruto? Naruto opened his mouth and tried to say something but no words came out and she said, I think you are starting to understand. I don't love Iron Man. I love Naruto. You must decide who you are going to be. Are you going to be the man or the machine? You can't be both. Naruto bit his lip and said, what do I do then? Eva said, who do you want to be Naruto? You have a chance right now to make your own path. You will either become what you always tried to prove you are or you can become what you were meant to be. The choice is you. I am Eva Uzumaki, wife to Naruto Uzumaki, godmother to the Namikaze clan. I will guide you and your children down the path you chose but must set the example you want them to follow. Show me the path you chose, Iron Man. Naruto asked, why are you doing this, Eva? Eva let a tear fall and said, because Naruto Uzumaki was not a murderer. He was not a monster or a demon. He was not a merchant of death. You're letting power corrupt you and turn you into something Naruto Uzumaki stood against. He was killed by you, Naruto Namikaze. Now you can either seek salvation or damnation. The choice is yours and I will stand by your side because I believe you will make the right choice, but I can't give you my heart because it died with my husband, as she disappeared. Naruto stood there in the shower as he played over the words that Eva said as the memories of his fight against Sasuke and then Kakashi, and he asked, was I really becoming that? Eva replayed the video around him and he closed his eyes and said, it hurts. I saw her die and I. Eva said in his head, you wanted to die with her and kill the one who took her away from you. ... She became more to you than Temari, Yugao or me ever could. Temari you never actually cared for besides wanting to do the right thing and what was your duty. You didn't like the fact what she did to Tenten from what you told me. You could understand Gaara because of your shared past, but Temari was only a duty that was forced on you like the others. Yugao was closer to you, but your feelings for her were respect and admiration as well as sympathy. You respected her skills and admiration for her befriending you and accepting you, but you felt sorry for her because of her losing Hyatt and the memories of what you saw Tsunade had become before you met her. Tenten was the only one you truthfully let through besides me, but there are things that I can't understand because I am made to aid you. Naruto frowned as he shut off the water and said, so you think that I actually love her? Eva said, I do not know. I don't know what is real love, but I do know that you are closer to her than anyone else. She's more to you than that crush you had on Sakura. Naruto sighed and said, I'm sorry, Eva. I didn't realize what I was becoming. Eva said, then redeem yourself, Namikaze. I will be there to aid you when you need me. Naruto dried off and slipped on a pair of boxes before he gave his cloths to Hokage Bunshin to wash, and he slipped into bed and thought, good night, Eva. I do love you. Eva remained silent until long after Naruto fell asleep and said in only a whisper, and I love you as well, Naru-kun, but I have to do what I am programmed to do. I am programmed to protect you, and if you are willing to throw your life away, it goes against my programming. I must do what I think is best to protect you, even from yourself. I hope my actions show you to be more careful and to stop being so dangerous without thinking first. The next morning Naruto awoke and looked outside his window as he began to get ready for the day and thought, that's strange, why is there smoke coming from over there, as he got dressed. After eating a cup of ramen he left his apartment and began to go by rooftop toward where the smoke was coming from, and he stopped on a roof near the smoke and thought, well, this is interesting. Eva, can you give me a sonic scan of the area? The vision changed and Naruto looked at the ground around him and thought, several sections have been destroyed by what looks like explosive tags. 0.27 bodies are below ground with 3 squad of Anbu sealing them up, so who knows how many there was before. Looks like Gigi decided to handle things, but what about the old warhorse? As he looked around, a voice from behind him said, is there something you need here? Naruto turned to look at the person standing there and said, just making sure no one here got hurt and needed help getting to the hospital. Ibiki-sama. Got to look after all our loyal men and women, right? Ibiki looked at Naruto with narrowed eyes and said, how do you know who I am? Naruto said, my old guard let me read his bingo book once. I recognize you though, you look like you gained a little weight and got a few more scars. Name's Naruto, but I'm sure you already know that. Ibiki said, yes, though I have to ask what makes you so interested in this. Naruto said, I guess you could say I was the one who let the fox out of the bag on this little rat hole. I hope none of the exterminators were hurt taking out the rats. They dug themselves pretty deep, looks like. Ibiki said, yes they did, and I must say you might want to avoid the shadows for a little while. Between the rats and the hounds the fox might get its paw trapped. Naruto smiled and said, but the fox is known for its cunning and its trickster personality, but the fox has nothing on me. Take care of the kiddies, Ibiki-sama. They aren't the only ones playing with mask these days. As he turned and jumped away, Ibiki watched him go until he was out of sight and said, what do you think? Anko emerged from the ground with her arm bandaged and said, the kid's got a set of balls to joke like that with you. Ibiki said, I'm more interested in what he's got planned though. He knew what happened here, but he was the one who informed Hokage-sama about this place, so it's not surprising, but he also knows about the fox, but I wonder what he meant about mask, something's up with that. Anko said, you think he's going to try and make his own Anbu like Danzo or something? Told the old man about this hideout to take care of his competition. Ibiki said, no, at least not in this village. He doesn't have enough support to pull that off. No, I got the feeling something more personal is up with him. His eyes never adjusted once while he was looking at me, even when my Hayate reflected sunlight into his eyes. He's also wearing a Chunin-style vest, though it's been customized in the chest area. Anko asked, is that why you warned him about retaliation from Root and Anbu? Ibiki said, no. The Hokage was right, our village security is getting to lax if a mist ninja can kidnap someone in broad daylight in front of Anbu without being caught, and the fact Danzo little operation here was going on so long and we never found it. We've been compromised in deep. Only the Anbu captains knew about the plan to attack here last night. The fact Danzo is now missing and all that was here were weak Genin level and a few low-level Chunin. Danzo got tipped off and took his strongest and most loyalty and fled. No other explanation. I warned him to let him know I'm watching him. Anko frowned and said, what about the other rat he told informed about? Ibiki said, he's been under investigation for a while but nothing conclusive could be found. I got someone watching him up close. Go get some rest, Anko, we got a long night ahead of us after Inoiki gets what he can from the kids we captured. Anko said, right, see you later tonight, as she left in a swirl of leaves. Ibiki looked back toward the academy and thought, you sure know how to raise hell, kid, as he jumped down to where some Anbu were coming out of the building. Naruto landed in front of the academy and saw several people look at him in shock with his new cloths. He had a pair of black Anbu pants, black combat boots, and a black modified Chunin Anbu armor vest with multiple pockets for scrolls and a black cloak with blue flames on the sleeves and the bottom of the cloak. He shrugged and began to walk toward the academy. Sasuke saw Naruto's new look and said, what's with the new cloths, Dobe? Think the cloths make the man or something? Naruto looked bored at Sasuke and said, You say something? As he reached for the handle to the door when he heard Eva warning and he ducked under a punch as Sasuke fist slammed into the glass of the door to the academy, busting his hand and making it bleed instead of hitting Naruto. Naruto looked around as several people watched as Sasuke wrapped a bandage around his hand, glaring at Naruto, who said, what? All I did was duck when you attacked me from behind. A voice that went through the crowd said, "That is very true, Naruto. Sasuke Uchiha, attacking a fellow villager or ninja of our village without the permission of a superior or training is illegal, and if I see you do it again I will have you removed from the ninja program. Do I make myself clear?" Sasuke gritted his teeth and said, "Yes, Hokage-sama." Naruto looked at the Sandaime and said, "What are you doing here, Hokage-sama? Not that it's not an honor to have you here." The Sandaime said, "I just came by to give a small speech to everyone before you all took the exams. I used to do this every year when I was younger, but I've been too busy that last few years. Since you were so kind as to reveal the secret to defeating Hokage's greatest enemy, I decided to return to doing it for this class." Naruto smiled and said, "Any yet Hokage was defeated by a simple academy student." The Sandaime glared at him, but he had a smile on his face as he walked into the building. Naruto turned and said, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Hokage is waiting for us and time is money. If you still got a cherry, get it to class. Let's go," as he walked in, leaving a bunch of blushing and shocked people. A civilian parent glared at Naruto and thought, "Such a vulgar creature. He should be put down." An academy student snickered and thought, "That was priceless. He could be related to Anko," as he walked into the building. When everyone was in the class, the Sandaime looked at the room and Iruka and Mizuki both stood at attention, and the Sandaime said, "Well, I want to wish you all the best of luck on this test today. Today you will show your dedication to your village as well as the fruits of your hard work. Now I can't stay for all the tests, so if everyone will quickly come up and take a ball from this bag, I will then take whatever the last ball in the bag out and watch the 5 with the matching ball color go first, and for each one who passes that I watch I will ask a question of you, and if whoever answer my question the best I will give you a reward. Do you all understand? Good, then come take out a ball and return to your seat." As everyone took a ball, Naruto took his turn in line behind Kiba and ahead of Shino and took his ball. He looked at it and snorts before returning to his seat. The Sandaime said, "Now let's see who are the 5 lucky Genins," as he reached in and pulled out an orange ball. The Sandaime held it up and several people groaned, and he said, "Now would the 5 who have this color please come back up here." Naruto walked up to the front with Sasuke, and 3 other random Genin. The 3 others failed the test because of being nervous, and Sasuke passed the 3 jutsu flawlessly. The Sandaime said, "All right, Naruto, it appears that you are the last to go. Please perform the henge, replacement and a bunshin jutsu." Naruto listened to the wording the Sandaime said and asked, "Can it be in a combination together, sir?" The Sandaime looked at Naruto and said, "I do not see a problem with that. Do either of you have a problem with Naruto performing those jutsu in a combination?" Iruka said, "No, Hokage-sama." Mizuki said, "No, but he must do the required number and they must be right." Naruto said, "Here goes then," as he put his hands together. And 5 puffs of smoke appeared, and there was 5 Kichibunshin appeared, and 2 of them hanged into demon windmill shurikens. And 2 of the Kichibunshin grabbed them right after and threw them at Sasuke, while the last Kichibunshin replaced himself with Sasuke, and the windmill shurikens sliced through the Kichibunshin before one turned into Naruto, grabbing the still flying shuriken and throwing it at Sasuke again, who was trying to figure out what just happened, only for him to get replaced again by one of the Kichibunshin, who was destroyed, while the Kichibunshin beside it grabbed the shuriken and threw it at the one who was a shuriken originally before it was destroyed, and the shuriken revealed itself as Naruto and replaced himself with Sasuke, and then both the remaining Kichibunshin who were standing besides each other hanged into Sakura and Ino in a bathing suit and said as they put their faces cheek to cheek, "Sasuke-kun, can we be in your harem?" before they went up in smoke. Naruto slapped his head and said, "Damn clones. They take a life of their own, so do I pass." Everyone was stunned as they looked at Naruto, and the Sandaime asked, "What was that, Naruto?" Naruto said, "My demon hunter jutsu." "Why?" The Sandaime thought a moment and said, "That is easily a B rank jutsu bordering A. I am indeed impressed. You pass." Naruto smiled and looked at the rest of the class and asked, "What?" Sasuke gritted his teeth and said, "Dobe, how did you do that?" Naruto said, "Using the basic 3, why?" Sasuke said, "Those were solid clones, not illusions." Naruto said, "Because they're Kichibunshin. Fake clones are like fake breast, a big letdown when you try to use them." Several people blew back with a nosebleed from that, including Iruka and the Sandaime. Naruto shook his head and thought, "Pervert." Sakura screamed, "Pervert. as she got up and went to hit Naruto only for him to catch her fist, and he looked at her eyes and said, "I guess you decided to become what you hated most, Sakura, how sad," as he let go of her fist and stepped back. Sakura glared at him and put her hand on her hips and said, "Oh Mr. Smart Ass, what might that be?" Naruto said, "Someone who picks on those who they think are weaker than them. You have become just like Amy, another bully. I don't need Ino to protect me though." Sakura got tears in her eyes as she left the room crying, and Naruto closed his eyes and thought, "Damn it," as he ran out of the room after Sakura. He caught her before she made it to the door leaving the academy and said, "Stop, Sakura." Sakura, who was crying, said, "Leave me alone." Naruto said, "Only if you stop crying. I know what I said to you was wrong, but there were two reasons I said them to you. Someone told me recently I was starting to become what I always hated, and I decided to change my ways. You're doing the same thing I was. You treat me and others like Amy and the other bullies treated you when you were younger. After today, we're not kids anymore, Sakura, we're considered adults, old enough to drink, old enough to have sex, and old enough to die or kill. ... I know you want to show Sasuke and Ino both that you're strong, but you're doing it the wrong way. You're starting a new path in life, Sakura, and you need to become strong not for others but yourself. After all, who do you have to look at in the mirror in the morning? Do you want to look at yourself and see a weak little girl who needed someone to protect her all her life, or do you want to see a strong Kunoichi of the Hidden Leaf Village? I hope you grow up, Sakura. You're cute as a little girl, but as a woman you would be more beautiful. Become what you are, not what others want you to be, Sakura," as he turned and started back to class. Sakura stood there frozen, thinking about the words that Naruto spoke to her, and she took a deep breath before she wiped the tears from her eyes and walked back toward the class. When Naruto walked back into the class, he saw several people glaring at him, and the Sandaime said, "Where is Sakura, Naruto?" A fist connected on the top of his head, and Naruto was sent to the ground below and thought, "You just had to drop that armor, didn't you?" Eva said in his head, "You deserved that one." Sakura walked into the room and said, "Sorry about that, Hokage-sama. I had something in my eye, but I got it out. Did I miss my test?" The Sandaime said, "No, Sakura, I was waiting for you and Naruto to return so I may ask the question I mentioned earlier. Please take your seat." Sakura nods and sits down in her seat, and Ino looked at Sakura and saw Sakura's eyes and thought, "What did you say to her, Naruto?" Again and looked at this and thought, "Now that's interesting. It looks like Naruto started a fire in Sakura. I wish someone would do that for Ino." The Sandaime cleared his throat as Naruto stood up, and he said, "Now Sasuke and Naruto. My question is, why do you want to be strong?" Naruto crossed his arms and Sasuke said, "I have to become because I have a dream. No, it is a reality I will make. I will kill a certain someone and restore my clan," as he clenched his fist and blood fell from it. Naruto took a deep breath and mumbled, "He will also kill anyone who gets in his way, friend or foe." The Sandaime frowned as he heard Naruto mumble as well as Sasuke answer, and he said, "I see. What about you, Naruto? Why do you want to be strong?" Naruto bit his lip and said, "Strength doesn't come from how many jutsu you have or how much chakra you have. It doesn't come from how many punches or kicks you can do. It comes from finding what is most important to you and protecting it with everything you have. ... I know a woman who is probably the strongest woman I've ever met. She has a father and a son who needed her. Her husband was killed in front of her and her family. She was attacked by some bandits and raped. ... She survived all of it, but she couldn't let it affect her. She remained strong, holding in the pain she suffered while she carried a child in her, taking care of her father and son when the bandits controlled her village. Never letting it affect her and being the strength they needed when she was suffering herself because they were the most precious thing to her. ... I saw the pain the woman was in when I met her, and I saw the strength she has to endure till this day. I learned from her and another who gave his life to protect his master that true strength comes from protecting that which is precious to you. I have looked around me and found what is precious to me, and I've decided to become the strength to those around me like she did for her family. That is why I want to be strong," as he looked at everyone in the room in the eyes. Sasuke said, "You're an idiot who will get himself ki," as he was silenced by ki coming from Naruto, who focused it at Sasuke. Sasuke gulped and the Sandaime said, "Enough, Naruto." Naruto frowned and said, "Just so you know, Sasuke, you have never and will never be on my precious list. I knew your brother and I think your brother lied to you to protect you from the real killers of your clan. I think he found the bodies before you did and lied to you so you would hate him and live instead of chasing the real killers and dying. I think all this time he's been either tracking them down himself or has already killed. I've believed that for years and I will believe it till the day I die. How can one man kill an entire clan with the same strength and weaknesses as him without anyone noticing until it was done? Answer that Avenger. The Sandaime closed his eyes and said, Naruto, that's enough. The past is the past, you shouldn't bring up such painful memories. Naruto said, forgive me then Hokage-sama, but if the past is so painful then why do we celebrate the death of so many people every year? I don't care if I pass or not or about your reward. I don't need a piece of paper or piece of metal giving me permission to do what I think is right or being strong for those around me. Lord Avenger over there can have it, but someday his revenge will result in the death of someone who was a friend, allies, or an innocent who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just like, as he threw his hayate on the ground as he stopped talking and walked toward the door. The Sandaime frowned and said, you can't leave yet, I haven't dismissed you. Naruto said, I haven't taken the real Genin test yet or signed my ninja registration papers Hokage-sama. Someone in your position should know about dotting the I's and crossing the T's to make everything legal. I'm still a civilian just like all them, so if you will excuse me, but I'm going to get drunk or laid, maybe both, as he walked out the door. Iruka said, forgive him Hokage-sama, he's. The Sandaime sighed and said, right, making everyone in the classroom look at him wide-eyed. The Sandaime said, last night my Anbu attacked a group of traitors who were planning the downfall of Konoha. Information was gathered that this group was involved in the Uchiha massacre 5 years ago. It is unknown at this time if Uchiha Itachi actually had any part in the massacre, and the only one who can know for sure is Itachi himself, who made himself a missing nin by leaving the village that day. I had planned to investigate into the matter, but because of Naruto outburst I feel that it is best that the current information be given to Sasuke, so as the only Uchiha loyal to the village he can decide on the course of action. Sasuke was shocked still as everyone looked at him, and he said, as memories of his brother and then that day played in his head. The Sandaime said, it is your decision, and once we have all the info from the investigation you can determine what to do then Sasuke. For now I need to return to my office and the rest of you have to take your test. I will have your sensei give you the reward I promised Sasuke, but the truth is it should have went to Naruto, who apparently has decided not to be a ninja. It's a shame, his father the Yondaime would be saddened by this turn of events all things considered, as he left in a puff of smoke. Several screams of what was heard throughout the room. On the Hokage monument Naruto sat down and smirked as the memories came back to him from the Kage of the Sandaime and said, now let's see where you go Konoha, as he stood up and the armor appeared on him and he flew away from the village. That afternoon the Sandaime rubbed his temples as he looked at Mizuki standing in front of him and said, this is a nightmare. Are you sure that was all? Mizuki said, yes sir Hokage-sama. That is all that I observed in the classroom and before. Are you sure that it was not you there, because whoever impersonated you had all your body language and characteristics all down to the letter and I could not detect any henge or genjutsu. The Sandaime said, no Inoiki. With the reports on what happened last night I could not leave to attend the testing like I wish I could. Do you have any idea who it could have been or why? Mizuki said, I don't know sir, but it seems that Naruto has quit being a ninja after passing his test. I think his emotional mask has come off and he is finally letting the pressure get to him sir. The Sandaime said, yes. I had talked with him yesterday and we had a heated discussion because he knows of his unique status, but he also realized that he had no other choice he could take because he doesn't know how to do anything but be a ninja. But it seems that whoever impersonated me knew which buttons to press to get Naruto to quit. Mizuki was quiet a moment and said, sir. I can only think of two possibilities and both are bad sir. One is that Naruto played you and everyone else, or your office has been compromised and there is a bug in here somewhere. With Danzo taking his most loyal and fleeing ahead of time, and then what happened today. He could have arranged this to force you to focus on cleaning up the mess from the academy while giving him and his men a chance to flee. The Sandaime frowned as he heard this and said, I have thought of both possibilities and I could not see Naruto doing that with his conviction that he spoke to me about yesterday. That leaves but one option, take Mizuki body to Anbu headquarters and have Ibiki bring 3 squads of Anbu to my office. We must find the bugs. After that go ahead and rest. I will deal with what happened later today. Mizuki said, yes sir, as he left. The Sandaime thought, so you were right about Mizuki Naruto, and Inoiki was able to discover his plans before he carried them out. But where are you now, Naruto? 4 hours later, the Sandaime walked out onto the balcony of the Hokage Tower and looked at the people gathered below, and he saw several people looking around curious, and he said, people of Konoha. There have been several events that have happened recently that have been hidden from the eyes of our people. A group of traitors to Konoha were discovered by a concerned citizen who reported it to me, and after an investigation we discovered that the information was correct and we were able to capture or kill over 40 traitors. As he took a puff of his pipe, he blew it out and said, unfortunately the leader of this group was able to escape with some of his most loyal followers. The leader was none other than former council member Danzo, making several people wide-eyed and gasp. After raising his hand and the people quieted down, he said, after going through the files we discovered at the base this traitor group were working from, we have discovered several startling pieces of information. Based on the information as well as other evidence discovered, it has been determined that there are several events that Konoha has been deceived over. These events are the Uchiha massacre and the son of the Yondaime Hokage, shocking nearly everyone. The Sandaime, after quitting the people again, said, now I am sure that many of you are curious as to who the Yondaime's son is as well as the truth of the Uchiha massacre. The Yondaime's will that was stolen from the Hokage Tower after the Yondaime's death before I was reinstated as the Hokage was in the documents that was found. However, before this information was discovered, it appears that Danzo used the information he knew we had by attacking his base and by impersonating me at the academy today, revealed that some of the information in an attempt to trick Sasuke Uchiha into coming after him so he could capture the Sharingan, and the trick the son of the Yondaime into leaving Konoha before his parentage could be revealed. Unfortunately, it appears that his trick works on some level, as the son of the Yondaime has quit being a ninja of this village and has left. People began to shout, saying they needed to find him and bring him back. The Sandaime smoked his pipe and let the people speak for several minutes while he waited. When they noticed he had not said any more, they quieted down, and he said, the truth of the Uchiha massacre is that Danzo had ordered the Uchiha massacre. I, however, am also partly to blame, making everyone silence. Sasuke screamed, what the hell do you mean you are to blame? As he shook with rage. The Sandaime said, at the time of the Uchiha massacre, Itachi was in my office getting information for a top-secret spy mission that he has been on this entire time. He informed me that after he returned to his home and discovered his family dead, he tricked you, Sasuke, into thinking he was the killer so you would not get yourself killed and could restore your clan if he should die. We had no clue as to who the true killers were at the time, and until the documents we received today we had no way of knowing Danzo and his root Anbu were involved. Since we have this information, I have sent word to Itachi to abort the mission he is on, and he has sent me a document with all the information he has discovered and will be returning as soon as he can safely. Everyone was stunned as they heard this, and the Sandaime said, with the information that Itachi has sent to me, I have some more troubling news that goes back to the Kyuubi attack on Konoha, making everyone give him their full attention. The Sandaime said, the Kyuubi did not attack us for no reason as we have believed all these years. The truth is that the same person who first summoned the Kyuubi to our world is still alive and sent the Kyuubi to get his revenge on Konoha and his clan. It appears that Danzo was also working with this individual, and we believe that Danzo ordered his root members to kill the Uchiha clan as part of the plan to weaken Konoha for its ultimate destruction as the very hands of the man who trained him as a genin. The man who sent Kyuubi attack was none other than the traitor who killed the Shodaime Hokage, Madara Uchiha. Screams of outrage and revenge went out through the crowd, as they were silenced by the Sandaime, who raised his hand and he said, now many of you are wondering how he is still alive, and truthfully I don't know. Where he is also I do not know, and Itachi himself has only met him once, and that was when Madara invited him into the group I sent him to spy on. Now because of the information on who the Yondaime's son is as well as the truth of the Uchiha massacre, I am going to repel the law that I created the night of the Uchiha massacre and reveal to everyone what really happened that night. A civilian said, so we can finally kill the demon, with a few shouting to agree. The Sandaime said, the demon as you call him is none other than the son of the Yondaime idiot, making all the adults who were cheering to shut the fuck up. The Sandaime took a deep breath and said, now as many of you just saw, there are several idiots here in Konoha and they have made the life of the Yondaime's son a living hell. I am sure that most of the younger generation are wondering what is going on, and I will now explain it. Now do you all see this scroll and this hat? As he took off his Hokage hat, He then sealed the hat into the scroll and said, "Now by sealing my hat into this scroll does the scroll become my hat," as he placed the scroll on his head, getting a few chuckles from the kids and frowns from the adult. The Sandaime unsealed the hat and said, "No, it does not, however, because of the pain and loss of friends and loved ones who died in the Kyuubi attack. People forget that simple truth. Now the reason I said that is exactly what happened the night of the Kyuubi attack. The night the Kyuubi attacked was the same night the Yondaime's only son was born. Now because of the Kyuubi being immortal there was no way to kill it as long as it was immortal, so the Yondaime, using his sealing knowledge as the greatest seal master ever, as well as using the power of the Shinigami who he summoned at the cost of his life, the Yondaime sealed the Kyuubi into a seal just like the one on this scroll that I sealed my hat on. The seal is not the scroll and the scroll was not my hat, so the object the Kyuubi was sealed into does not become the new Kyuubi as some think because of the pain and suffering they lost. Now the Kyuubi was too strong just to seal it into a scroll or a stone. To safely do it you must create what is known as a Jinchuriki. What one must do to create a Jinchuriki is take a newborn baby who is but a few hours old and seal a demon into them, so as the child grows up they will absorb the chakra the demon would try to use to escape, and as the child grows they are slowly killing the demon, and when they die the demon dies. Now for those of you who haven't figured it out yet, the truth is the real hero who saved everyone here from the Kyuubi when the Yondaime gave his life to seal away the Kyuubi was none other than the person who is slowly killing the Kyuubi, the Yondaime's only son, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The reaction to this news was unique to say the least. Many were shocked and some were angered and a lot felt guilty. One of the more guilty people said, "You lie." The Sandaime unleashed a massive wave of ki on the entire crowd as said, "You think I lie because you do not want to admit the crimes you have committed against Naruto, like charging him 3 times the price on anything you would sell to everyone else, or how you bar him from your businesses and how parents pulled their children away saying he was a bad person. He didn't even know why people of this village have tried to kill him in the past until yesterday. All these years he suffered because of most of you who can't tell the scroll from the damn hat that is sealed inside the scroll. ... It's people like you who feel guilty right now for the way you treated him that makes me think sometimes the Yondaime made a mistake saving you and should have had one of you do the sealing into your own child. I visited him on his birthday in the hospital when the people of this village sent him there after beating him to an inch of his life. Yes. Moments like right now I think the Yondaime made a mistake, but lucky for you he was a better person than you. As he walked away still releasing the key until he was back in his office. After he was gone people were in a state of shock hearing his words and the emotions behind them. Many of the younger generation were looking at the ones around them and saw the guilty looks. Sakura saw her mom and said, "Mom. You didn't do anything to him, did you?" As she saw the sad look her mom had on her face. Suki looked at Sakura and said, "I was told when I was hired at the library to never let him enter the library or I would lose my job. Luckily he never came in, but I would have threw him out to save my job." The people around her looked down as they heard this, and conversations between parents and children were going from a few sad words like Suki and Sakura to full shouting matches. In the Hokage office the door opened and Kakashi walked in and he said, "That was surprising, sir." The Sandaime said, "Report." Kakashi said, "Naruto went to the Hokage monument but then it just disappeared like he shushined away or something. I can't explain it and my summons were unable to discover where he went after that." The Sandaime frowned and said, "I see," as he looked out the window. Kakashi asked, "Sir, if I may ask, why reveal his parentage now of all times?" The Sandaime took a puff of his pipe calming his nerves and said, "Naruto, final words from what I was told before he walked out of the academy was, if the past is so painful why do we celebrate the death of so many every year? Along with you I have had over 30 squads of Anbu looking for him as well as the Inuzuka clan and several Hyuga. He is no longer in the village. Of that I am sure. He is gone, most likely to see his family he recently learned about. ... Unfortunately it's not safe for him to travel like that without being able to protect himself better. The group I had Itachi spy on are after all the Bau and will begin shortly tracking down all of them, so they will be going after Naruto as well. As Naruto shown he could leave at any time if we find him and drag him back, and unless we want to lock him away for his protection treating him like a prisoner, then Konoha is going to have to change their ways. If Madara gets his hands on Naruto then Konoha is as good as destroyed. Kakashi frowned behind his mask and said, so you revealed Naruto's parents and burden in hopes to make him feel better about living here so we can protect ourselves from Madara. The Sandaime said, no, I'm doing it to bring my grandson home and give him what he should have had all along. I want you to take your summons and go 5 miles away from the village and do a circle around the village to see if you can find his scent. When you're done, come back and rest. Kakashi frowned and said, what about the team you wanted me to take? The Sandaime said, I will have that team on standby for the next week. Itachi informs me he can be here by then, so I will wait until he arrives to see what he wants to do about Sasuke. If we can find Naruto, I have another team that would be better suited for you, though you won't be able to fail that team if I do give it to you though. For now, carry out your orders and rest. We have to find Naruto, so that will be your primary mission for now. I've contacted Jiraiya and he is on his way back to help find him. He should be here in the next couple of days. When he does, I will send you out with him to find Naruto and bring him home. Kakashi said, yes sir, as he left. The Sandaime sighed and looked out his window and thought, please be safe and come back home, Naruto. In Wave Country, Naruto landed on the ground near Tazuna house and began to walk through the woods. When he got there, he knocked on the door and waited a few moments before the door opened and he saw Inari standing there, and Inari said, yes. Naruto said, hi, I was wondering, is Tazuna here? My name's Naruto. Inari frowned and the door opened a little wider and Tazuna stood there looking nervous and he said, yes, can I help you? Naruto said, actually that's what I wanted to ask you. My name is Naruto and I was wondering if I might be able to help you build your bridge. Tazuna blinked and said, you don't look like you could do much, kid. Naruto said, I'll be 16 soon sir, and I've been trained to be a ninja nearly my entire life. I decided to take a break from that for now, and I was passing nearby when I heard about this bridge you were building and thought I might come and work here until your bridge is done and go from there. Besides, I got a jutsu that will help finish the bridge quicker. Tazuna said, really? What is it, kid? Naruto put his hands together and said, Tajukage Bunshin no Jutsu. As the entire clearing was filled with Naruto and he said, extra set of hands to help. Tazuna's eyes brightened and said, of course I could use your help, where you staying, kid? Naruto said, I'll just camp in the woods. The kind voice of Tsunami said, nonsense. If you are willing to help us build Dad's bridge, then I insist that you stay here. I'm Tsunami by the way, and that's Inari. Naruto said, it's a pleasure to meet you. If you're sure I won't be a problem to stay here, I will accept, but I insist you let me give you some of my stored food to help. Tsunami said, that would be appreciated. Please come on in and have a seat. Why don't you tell us about yourself? As she shoved her dad and Inari to the side and let Naruto in. Naruto smiled and sat down and saw all three looking at him, and he said, well, as I said, I've been trained to be a ninja nearly all my life. I come from Konoha. My parents died the day I was born, so I've been an orphan most of my life. I learned that I got a distant relative who traveling the world, and I hope to meet him while I take this vacation. Can I ask something though? Why are you building the bridge? I mean, I admit it seems like a good idea, but I heard some things and I don't really trust the words of a drunk, so I was hoping you could tell me the real reason. Tazuna looked down and said, 2 years ago a businessman you've probably heard about named Gato came into Wave Country and he started buying all the trading companies in Wave and used his money to bribe the feudal lord into looking the other way until it was too late. Now Gato got all shipping in and out of the country under his control and he is raising the prices on everything and we have no choice but to pay him, especially after that. Naruto asked, what? Tazuna took a swig of some sake and said, a man named Kaiser who was the hero of our village tried to stand up to Gato and Gato had him killed to make an example. He was Tsunami husband and Inari's stepfather. As he looked down, Naruto frowned and said, I know how you feel somewhat, as they all looked at him. Inari asked, what do you know about suffering or seeing a parent killed in front of you? Naruto took off his shirt, making them all wide-eyed as they saw the core, and he channeled a little chakra and pointed toward the seal and said, do you see this right here? It's basically a prison. The killer of my parents is sealed into a prison on my body. Every day that I live, my parents kill lives. Some of the people of my village see me as the killer when I was but a few hours old when he was sealed into me by my father to stop him from killing anyone else. I know suffering and the pain of loss. You still have your mother and grandfather. I had no one. You should know in this world there is always someone who has it worse than you. Be thankful for what you have and protect it with these. As he grabbed Inari's hands and then placed one hand on Inari's chest and the other on his head and said, and these. When you then people like Gato will fall. Inari said, then if you're strong, why don't you kill Gato? Naruto said, because it's not my fight, at least not yet. If I killed Gato now for you, then what would you do the next time someone comes and tries to take over your home? You would then be right back where you are. That is why I said I really came to help build the bridge, to see if the people here are really willing to fight to protect their precious people like your grandfather is. From what I heard before coming here and what I just heard when Gato killed your stepdad, he killed the strength of the village. If you don't have the strength of heart to fight back, then nothing will change and you will always be hiding in fear from the next person who want to harm your precious people. What's to stop them from killing your mom, grandpa, friends, neighbors, or you? Think about what I said. As he got up and started toward the door. Tsunami asked, where are you going, Naruto? Naruto pulled his shirt back on and smiled back and said, don't you know a hero arrives at the last minute? I'm going to see what this big bad Gato is up to. As he walked out the door. After he was gone, Tsunami looked at Inari, who was looking at the door with tears in his eyes, and he said, Mom. Why does he act like he knows everything, like he can save us? Tsunami said, maybe he can, as she looked at the door. Tazuna put his sake bottle down and got up, and Tsunami said, where you going, Dad? Tazuna said, the kid's right. We need to get our strength back to show Gato that we're not going to take this lying down. I'm going to bed and rest for tomorrow. I got a lot of hard work to do on the bridge, as he went toward his room. Inari said, but you're going to die, Grandpa. Tazuna said, we all die someday, Inari. I won't die, however, without trying to protect you and your mother. You're both precious to me. As he left, Inari ran to his room and began to cry, and Tsunami closed her eyes and thought, please be our hero and protect them. Naruto looked around the island and found a cave and went into the back and laid down before falling asleep. The next day Naruto walked on the bridge and saw several people working, and he said, Oi, drunk, where you need me, catching everyone's attention. Tazuna smiled and said, I was hoping you hadn't ran off. I need to set the mold for the next pillar of cement. Think you can help with that? Naruto said, show me what to do and I can do it. A worker asked, who's the kid, Tazuna? Tazuna said, this is the super cool ninja Naruto from Konoha. He's come to help us build our bridge. All the workers around them looked at Naruto, who said, so are we building or what? Making everyone look away and get back to work. A worker said, come with me, kid, I'll show you what to do, as he led Naruto toward the end of the bridge. When they got there, he said, you see those pipes right there? Those are the mold for the cement. We have to use the crane to lower them into the water below, but we need them to be standing straight up and down, so we use tow lines to set them as well as a worker in the boat. Naruto said, okay, I've seen this done before, so I know what to do now. Kajbunshin no Jutsu. As 5 more Naruto appeared, shocking everyone, and all 6 Naruto walked over and grabbed the aluminum pipes and walked toward the edge of the bridge and jumped off, and 4 of them went into the water while 2 stayed on top. All the workers ran to the end of the bridge and saw the pipe was standing up, and 2 of the Naruto was standing on the water holding it straight while, and one said, Oi, drunk, where you want this thing set at? Tazuna smiled brightly and said, about 15 feet straight out from where you're at. A Kajbunshin appeared next to Naruto and went up in smoke, and the pipe began to move with the 2 on top keeping it balanced. A few moments later Naruto asked, about here? Tazuna said, perfect, kid. You just did in 10 minutes what takes us usually 3 hours. How long can you hold that, kid? Naruto said, about an hour. Why? Tazuna saw everyone around him gaping and said, Hido, Koro, get the crane cable over there and start setting the rod iron. Jika, Santo, get the pumps out there and drain that tube. Let's move, people. As everyone got to work, Naruto smiled as he saw the looks people were giving him and thought, I like it here. I might just take that job if they ask me again. You pick up anything, Eva? Eva said, nope, all seems normal, but I am on the lookout. Naruto thought, good, with my Kajbunshin working on my wind and water manipulation training as well as my chakra control my training on the other side of the island, I should be strong enough to try out those wind jutsu before long. Working here will help me physically some, and then I can work on my own training during the every other day. I wonder what's happening in Konoha. That afternoon, after the work on the bridge was finished for the day, Naruto was walking away when a worker said, "Hey ninja," catching Naruto's attention. Naruto turned and said, "Yeah," as he looked at the group of men looking at him. One of the men said, "Why are you here, really?" Naruto thought a moment and said, "I'm trying to find something precious to me." A worker said, "Then you're a fool, Gato taken everything from us of value already." Naruto said, "No, he hasn't. You still have your friends and family. As long as you have what is truly precious to you, then you will be strong enough to get rid of Gato and the next person who comes along like him. I don't care about fortune or fame, I care about being strong enough to protect my precious people. I only have a few friends and only one family member in this world. I hope to find him, and I figure Wave's as good a place as any to start looking for him. I heard a little midget made you weak, so I figures I would help you get strong while I was here," as he turned and started to leave. A worker who was mad being called weak said, "What did you say? I'm not weak." Naruto said, "Then why is Tazuna the only strong one here? He's the only one who willing to die fighting Gato to free his friends, family and home. That's why I'm working for him. My father said a leader is only as good as those who are under him. If those under him are weak and scared, then the leader is incompetent, but if those under him are skilled and brave and willing to support their brothers and leader, then he is a strong leader. There are no weak soldiers under a strong general. I want to see this bridge completed to show Tazuna not incompetent but a strong leader. Now if you will excuse me, I got training to do," as he jumped up into the trees and left. After he left, the others Eva asked, "Where did you get such a strong speeches to motivate people?" Naruto rubbed his head and thought, "It was something in one of the books Suki gave my clones to read. It was called The Art of War by. I don't remember. It was really good advice, but I had to make it my own words somewhat." Eva giggled and said, "Only you would simplify like a book called The Art of War." The next day when Naruto got to the bridge, the worker who said he wasn't weak said, "Why are you late, weakling? We've been here for hours already." Naruto smiled and said, "I'll show you up, old timer and the old drunk also," as he got to work. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.